Hi, ma'am.
He's waiting with you. So,
Okay.
So I don't know. So I'm not sure how you want to handle the email with David other than to apologize. Well, I'm gonna apologize and say I was never given that information, otherwise I would have called you. If I had given that vote by Friday, I would have called you. And right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, I'm just gonna say my office was never formed. Right. So if you wanna just do the consent. Okay. Right, that's fine, so I'll just let them know that due to the vote going through, this thing will just go under consent and whatever, but, yeah, the office was never formed with vote, so. Alright, thank you. Bye. Sorry,
That's okay, ma'am.
phone call, drama,
Yeah.
appointments.
I'm sorry to bother you.
It's okay, what can I help you?
I actually had a couple questions.
Sure.
I had a friend of mine submit a public records request at the police department over a month ago.
Okay, so those are all handled by their office. So
Okay.
I am the public record request for the town, but then
Right.
we have other ones that have been assigned, for example, for public safety. So
Right.
police have their own public clerk,
Okay.
which is Barbara Peters,
Okay.
and then the fire department has their own clerk.
All right. That makes-
So if they do a request through my office, I immediately just tell them, you need to contact the police department, and then Barbara Peters is the one who
Right.
processes it. So if you're looking for, I'm assuming they haven't been responded to?
Not at all. As a matter of fact, this is the second record request that this gentleman has submitted, and
And is he doing it via email, or is he doing it?
he did it in person. He
Okay.
actually videotaped the last one. He spoke to a
Yeah.
lieutenant at the department.
So what
So-
I can give you is I can give you information as to how you can make a complaint to the state about it.
I already know how to
Okay.
do that. It's not the point. The point is they're violating the law. Mass General Law, Chapter 66.01 and
Right.
Chapter 66.10.
Right,
That's a violation. Not only that, but they're violating the law because the gentleman's request was a pretty basic one, which
Right.
is he was asking the name and badge numbers of two officers that he had an interaction with.
okay,
Under Mass State Law 4198D,
Right.
not only are they supposed to provide those two items, but they're also supposed to provide their state certified ID card.
right.
So I don't know how we've got to this point.
So I
where-
guess my question is how would you like me to assist you? Because
Well, I'm just-
I don't get the,
No,
so even
and
if I get the request,
I understand that. I'm just trying to
Right.
figure out where I need to go, and
You'll need
I was
to-
told to
so
come
if-
here first.
right, so under any other departmental request,
Right.
other than the two that I described earlier,
Right.
I would say, yes, I can assist you with that. I can look into it because I'm the one who processes it through the portal. I track the dates, I
Right.
see everything. I can look at, whether or not, blah, blah, blah has responded or whatever
got
documents
you.
have been uploaded. Because it's that, and you feel that there is not been the compliance, the next level up,
Well,
as you are
not-
aware.
Not answering is non-compliant.
Correct, so you have to go to the state and you have to go to,
Well, the problem is the state won't act until they get a denial. And where they're not answering at all, that's not a denial, that's just a flat-out refusal of service. And
Yeah.
again, they're breaking the law. And what really kills me about this is they're law enforcement. They should
Yeah.
be following it. You get where I'm coming from?
I
It's a
do, and
conflict. It's a
this is
conflict.
where, again, that department,
Right.
she has that designation,
I got you.
and they handle that all, so I can't even say to you, let me look it up,
Right.
or let me see if it's been processed, because it's even processed in a different realm
Right.
than what I have access to. I'm not sure if that's making sense.
No,
So,
I get where you're
yeah.
coming from. What it is essentially what it is the town business is town business, the police business is the police business when it comes to the records request.
Correct, and they, like I said, they have their own records keeper, and that was a designation that had to be made. I had a similar situation where someone was hounding me saying, well, you've gotta have the EMS records, and I'm like, no, that's actually,
That's the
that
fire
even goes,
department.
that's the fire department, and actually it goes beyond the fire department, it's a personal
That's a
health
HIPAA,
record
yeah, it's a
and
HIPAA
HIPAA and
law,
all
yeah.
that stuff then is very different. So, in any other situation, if you came to me and said, we submitted a public record request
Right.
to your office, and if it was any other department, I could go into my portal and I could
No.
look it up and I could tell you what emails went out, which staff members.
I have to assume the city manager controls what happens at the police station though, doesn't he?
He is not here right now. He is on vacation, but the assistant town manager is here, and he is in that office right next
Right
door.
across the hall?
So if you had questions for him about it, and you
Yeah.
can say you've already talked to me, and that the police department does have a separate
Right.
records request clerk, but it's not through my office,
Yeah.
or I would try to.
No, I
assist you in
understand
some
that.
way.
I'm just, like I said, I'm just trying to get my bearings as to
Yeah.
what's what.
Yeah,
Because,
but that's been my understanding, is that if you have a complaint and you feel that you are not being responded to, what I've been taught is that
Yeah.
they are allowed to go there.
Right now-
So how the state handles it, again, that
well, right
becomes
now, I'm actually working with State Senator O'Connor and Patrick Kearney out of Marshfield, Situate areas. We're trying to get this changed because this is ridiculous. Because when you submit a record request, it shouldn't be getting. I've had record requests literally in my face, tossed in the trash. I've had them just completely ignored.
See, I can't speak on that because every single one that I take in, even
Right.
ones that don't have items that exist, you know what I mean?
Right.
So if someone comes to me and says, I want this, and I send it out to whoever it is, we always respond.
Right.
Whether we'll tell you this isn't something that
Right.
because we're not required to produce a document for you. I don't know if that makes sense. So like if a record exists, we produce that. So if information is already in the file, but if you're requesting something, for example, that you think should exist and we don't have it, then we do respond back and say we don't have
We
that
don't have
document.
it, it doesn't
Yeah.
exist.
So
Right, and they would it would be on that person who made the request to try and prove that it did exist at some point.
well, that's where
And
you can
that's-
get the state involved, and that's
and
where
that's
you
a-
can
you're
send
right.
it to the state and say. So I just literally had a situation where our town had requested a document from somebody.
Right.
We never received it, so we've been sending them, hey, but because we mentioned it in a report, they're like, well, we want that document. Well, we haven't gotten it yet, so we can't produce something.
You can't produce it unless you have it.
Unless
I
we
get
have
that.
it. So again, I can't speak for what other departments do in the sense of other towns.
Right.
I can't. I think it's unfortunate that you've had that experience with
Well,
other
I'll
places.
put it to you this way: they did a study recently, and even the major news outlets were submitting record requests, and over 70% of the record requests that the major news agencies have submitted were not filled, were not answered, nothing. There was nothing done with them.
Well, we just got an update from the state, so they just updated a lot of that
Yeah.
in December. And one of the things, again, they said, if you're having a difficult time sort of understanding what the request is,
Right.
utilize the state to say, because, we got a request, for example, for the last election. They wanted all the ballots broken down. Well, that's not how we tally it. So I
Right.
can't produce that tally for them, because when we receive absentee ballots and mail-in ballots and regular ballots, they all get shuffled into the same queue, in a sense, or whatever you want to call it, and then
Right.
we count them. We don't label them somehow to say,
Yeah, Republican, Democrat, whatever.
or even like this came in through the mail. This,
Right.
we scan it in. So again, we can provide what we are able to and
Right.
say this is what we're able to provide, and this is the documentation that we have. But
Okay.
my personal experience is that I've never not responded. Even if I don't have a document, I will inform
Yeah.
them that we don't have that document.
Well,
Or
that's the thing, and,
Yeah.
and no response to me is, unfortunately, it kind of makes it look like you're hiding something. And to be perfectly honest with you, name and badge number of a officer shouldn't be a big deal.
yeah.
And-
So, I always tell people, and I know not everybody likes to do it, but I do everything in email and everything in writing, because you
Well-
can then look at it and say, I sent it to you on this day.
Well,
and-
that's what happened, is the request was submitted in writing
Right.
to the lieutenant down at the station. And the lieutenant, and even he was asked for the 3 forms of ID the day that he submitted the request, and he goes, I don't have it. So it kind of
Right.
makes you wonder what's going on.
Yep, like I said, I have no unfortunate jurisdiction over the police department.
No, I
know
get you.
they have different rules and things like that. I can just tell you how we do it in this office, but if you have questions about that, you can go over and talk to
Well,
Dan.
I appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
Your name?
I'm Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, I'm John. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Pleasure.
you. Yep, and here's my email. If you don't want to come in, you can always shoot me an email. I check my junks every day too, because a lot of emails go there, but
Well,
that's how I
I
would.
thank you so much, and
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate
If you
your
have any
time.
other questions, just come on in.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye now.
Have a great day.
How you doing, man? I was actually looking for the assistant town manager. I had a question, or a couple questions for him pertaining to the police department and public record requests.
Okay, he's right in his office.
I just knocked. I don't want to interrupt him if he's on a conference call or something, you know what I mean?
There's a little dog in there.
I got you. Hi.
Hello, how are you?
I'm sorry to bother you.
That's all right.
I have a couple questions. I was just talking with Elizabeth next door. She
Mhm.
told me maybe you could help me out. I had a friend of mine submit a public records request at the police department over a month ago.
Yep.
This is the second public records request that he submitted.
Yep.
The last one he did on video with a lieutenant. His request, to me, seems pretty basic stuff. He was looking for a name and badge numbers of two officers that he had a interaction with.
Yep.
And the lieutenant was given the paperwork, and he's gotten no response in over a month. 10 days has come and gone.
Mm-hmm.
One of the issues that seems to be in play here is he asked for name and badge number, which, according to Mass General Law 4198D, not only they're required to identify with name and badge number, but they're also required to identify with their state-issued ID.
Mm-hmm.
None of that was done. They asked for it. He asked for it on scene with the two officers. They denied it. So that's the first problem that I have. The
Yep.
second problem that I have is the lieutenant who took it is now in violation of Chapter 66.01 along with Chapter 66.10,
Mm-hmm.
which is the Public Records Act, which Secretary of State Galvin is responsible for that stuff. I've reached out to him. I've
Yep.
also reached out to a senator and a congressman out of the Situate and Marshfield areas. And they seem to have reached out to a few of their friends in the Senate and House that aren't too happy with the way records requests are being fulfilled.
Mhm.
Whether it's, and I'm not saying it's particular for this town, this
Yep.
is major news agencies, and I was telling Elizabeth about this, major news agencies are submitting record requests throughout the state,
Mhm.
and over 70% aren't being answered whatsoever, anywhere.
Yep.
So, to me, this is a huge problem when a member of the public has a complaint against an officer. They're asking for something that they're, by law, required to give,
Mm-hmm.
and they're being denied it. That's not right. And not only that, but I mean, realistically, and I'm not saying that this is what, because this seems to be an ongoing thing, and you get a lot of officers or whoever where they just turn around and go, you know what, just sue us.
Yep.
Well, we don't want to have to sue.
Right.
And nothing for nothing, this is a no-brainer.
Did your friend get a response to that public records?
He got
request?
nothing.
Nothing.
Zero. And this is the second one. Now, I'm not sure of the lieutenant's name, but either way, I don't think there's too many lieutenants over there. They got a record request in the month of December.
Yep.
Because I actually called and I spoke to your town manager's secretary, and I don't know if that was this young lady here.
Yep.
You're a sweetheart, by the way.
Mhm.
Thank you. And I spoke to her, and she said the same thing with what I've been telling you.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, we don't get it. They should be answering
Right.
this stuff.
Right.
I don't see what the big deal is.
So does your can I have your friend's
I
name?
just know that he put down as an email address, hippie auditor, HIPPIE,
Yep.
auditor, AU,
DITOR.
yeah,
Yep.
@gmail.com.
Uh-huh.
That would have been his email address.
Okay.
And, I mean, like I said, this shouldn't be that difficult.
Right, no, well, now that I
And-
have the email, I can reach out to the
And,
police
and,
department.
and that's the
follow
other
up.
thing, and I'm not sure the entirety of his record request,
Yep.
but even if he requested their salaries for the last 3 paychecks,
Right,
all they have to do is void out the person's address and,
Yep.
and stuff, and that's it, you know
Yep.
what I mean? So I don't understand why we got to this point, you know, I mean, it's unfortunate, and like I said, this isn't just
Right.
here.
right,
This is an ongoing thing throughout
Yeah.
the state where I'm working with the congressmen and senators to try
Mhm.
and get the law changed yet again, because I know they were trying to do it in 2015.
yeah,
Because ABC Boston actually did a report on it. And again, they were having the same issues even back then
yeah.
that we're having now. So,
All right, well, I'm sorry that your friend didn't get a response. I'll follow up with the police department with this email and see if they can at least reach back out to him and provide the information that they're.
yeah, I mean, like I said, by law, all the stuff he's asking for, they're required to.
Yep.
I mean, there shouldn't be, you know, unfortunately, me having to come down here.
Yeah.
You know, it gets me away from my grandkids for a little while. You know what I mean? But I would rather spend the time with my grandkids.
I understand.
You get where I'm coming from?
Yep, well, thank you for coming down and giving me that. I'll reach out to them.
Well, your name?
I'm Dan.
Dan, I'm John.
Yeah, I would shake your hand,
Oh,
but I've been a little bit
I
sick,
got you.
so I don't
I
want
got
to.
you.
I don't
No,
want to
I
do
got
that.
you.
But
And I appreciate your help.
No
and,
problem.
And like I said, any assistance, just, you know, it would be great if they would just build a request.
right.
You know, I mean,
Follow
at
up.
this point, there shouldn't be any issues. I mean, it's basic stuff.
All right.
All right,
Thanks,
thank
John.
you, Dan. Take
Happy New
care.
Year.
Happy New Year to you. Look at the age of this thing. This is beautiful. They don't make it like this anymore, boy. What a beautiful town hall. Nice picture. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.